Hey Byron, we saw John Brown added to the practice squad. Obviously, a guy that you guys know well from Arizona, knows Kevin, knows Bruce, knows you. I imagine that's kind of an emergency if Grayson and Perriman and Watson are all injured. But just want to ask you how quickly he can pick things up and what you guys might look for from him.
I don't know. We just got here late last night. He just got here late last night. Obviously, meet with him throughout the week, see how much he retained. It's differences. Obviously, it's some differences from the last time he heard it, but he's a smart player. Always been a smart player. So we'll see. Don't never want to put limitations on no one. So we'll see.
Thanks, Bert.
Mm-hmm.
We'll go to Rick Stroud.
Hey, Byron. Look, who knows how long Tom Brady's going to play, right? You'd be a poor man trying to bet on that. But if you just look at his season, the 5,300 plus yards, all the touchdowns, and it's a team game, right? But could you argue that, this is maybe the best he's played, or at least if he goes out, he's on top of his craft right now in the league as a quarterback?
Yeah, I think he's playing at a high level, at a high level. I mean, what more to say? You just said it, right? You just said it all. I mean, to have that type of year, to have that type of season, regardless of your age, if you're 25, if you're 26, everyone's begging and hoping that they can have that type of year. So, I mean, obviously, you guys know what I think of Thomas. Thomas is as good as they come. I mean, it's great to be a part of it, to be a part of the coaching him and watching him go play the way that he played week in and week out. It's special to be a part of. But, I mean, what more needs to be said with everything that you just said? You just said it all. Those are the facts of what he's done, and it's as special as it comes. I don't know how you do better.
Right. Thanks.
We'll go to Jenna Lane.
Hey, Byron. Leonard Fournette was a guy that led the entire postseason last year in scrimmage yards. I know there's a real possibility the Bucs can get him back this week. Just can you speak to the juice that he was able to give you guys last year in your postseason run, and then what he brings to you guys now?
Yeah, he brings the same stuff that he brought to us last year. Obviously, we don't look to last year to see what's going to happen this year, but obviously just continue to put him in position to make the plays that he's made all year. I think he's had a hell of a year. Unfortunately for him, he got hurt, because I would love to see where he would have been at this point if he not got hurt. I think, like I told you, I think he's grown into a pro. I think you're seeing the best of Lenny this year, what he can do, what he can bring to a team. So I'm going to just try to put him in position to try to help us win this football game.
And I know you're a tireless worker and you put a lot into this. And I'm just curious what it's like from your vantage point, standing in the foxhole with somebody that's kind of your equal in that department, and Tom Brady. We know how just maniacally obsessed he is and his game preparations and stuff, and just what it's like for you game planning, being able to bounce ideas off of each other like that.
It's a beautiful thing. Like I said, we're close in age. So we talk, all me and him do is talk football. We're talking football every second we see each other, and we both love it in that way. So obviously it's a blessing to have someone to love the game the way that he loved it, approach the game the way that he approached it. As a coach, I mean, it's ball all the time. So that's a special thing, and you just love being involved with that, love going to work with him every week.
We'll go to Kevin O'Donnell.
Hey, Byron. Unfortunately, there's a chance of rain and heavy winds on Sunday. You guys have just had one rain game this year, and that was New England, where Tom threw his lowest completion percentage this year. From a quarterback's perspective, is there any way to prepare for a rainy day come game day?
Yeah, we've done it before. We do wet ball drills. We're down here in Florida, too, so we practice in it some. So we get it. He's played in the rain a lot. Obviously, we see what the weather report says, but anytime you're down here, right, you kind of just wait the Friday or Saturday to make sure it's accurate. I saw that about 2 days ago, and I just turned it because there's no need to even look at the weather down here until you at least get to Friday, right? Friday, we'll really start paying attention for it, but we are preparing for what may come our way as far as weather.
and preparing for a team that you've already seen during the regular season. Do you prefer that, or would you rather face someone who you haven't seen? Which is, I mean, do you find yourself second guessing when you face opponent the second time? You know, both sides.
No, you just want to be playing in these games. You don't care who it's really against. You want to have the opportunity to compete in the tournament. We have that opportunity, so we're going to try to take advantage of that opportunity Sunday. Play our best football.
We'll go to Safid Dean.
Hey, Byron, I know it's been a couple weeks since you guys played without Chris Godwin and a couple weeks since without Antonio Brown. You know, how do you think that Tom and the offense will respond without those guys in the playoffs where, you know, the possessions are a little bit more limited and, you know, those guys are a real good crutch for Tom, you know, when you need a good big play?
I mean, I think they'll respond like they've been responding. We've been missing guys all year. We've been still able to do what we need to do to help this football team win from an offensive standpoint. Score points, convert situational football. That hasn't dropped. Even though we lost some great guys, we lost some special, unique guys, the production from the group haven't really, you know, stopped. So it's just a testament to those guys' hard work, what they do every day, the work that they put in, the focus that they have, understanding the time of year it is, understanding what they got to do, play in, play out for us to play our best football. So obviously you'd like to have all those guys back, but it is what it is. It's the game of football. The guys that are here are working their tail off to try to play their best football.
We'll go to Sarah Walsh.
Hi, Byron. I know a couple of guys and Bruce had talked about wanting a faster start, especially after last week. Is there anything you do, like practice-wise, whether that's looking over the plays that you might call to simulate that or get that going, since that's a category that everyone kind of looked at and said, yeah, that's an area we could do better?
Yeah, I don't know if you take 1 week and that, if we don't score on our first drive, it always tend that we're struggling early. It's just been 1 week. I think the week before and the week before that, we did pretty good. Obviously, the game of football is right. Sometimes it don't go your way. It didn't go our way early, but we understand that we're going to have 8, 9, 10 possessions in the game. Obviously, we try to score every time we get it. Sometimes you don't, but it's a 4-quarter game. We're preaching to these guys, it's a 4-quarter game. You want to play your best football for 4 quarters. But obviously, we want to get off to as good a start we can possibly get off in.
We'll go to John Romano.
Hey, Byron, going back to the idea of Godwin and Brown not being in the lineup, when you put in replacements, are they expected to just fulfill the role of the guy that they're replacement, or do you have to tweak the game plan somewhat, realizing that they may have a different skill set than the guy they're replacing?
You think there's a lot of Chris and ABs out there? There's not a lot of them out there, right, on the planet. So you don't ask them to be them, right? You ask them to be themselves and be the best version of themselves. Then it's my job to know what they can do well and put them in position to have success. So I'm asking guys to just be who they are. Just be who you are. I think we got a good understanding of what they are from a skill set, what they can do to help us, and just try to put them in position to have success.
With that in mind, how different is this offense than it was the offense that showed up against Dallas in the season opener?
Well, obviously, when you're missing, you know, the guys that we're missing, it's different, right? But at the same time, like I said earlier, the production hasn't slipped. Still got the same production with different numbers and different names on the back of the jersey. So, and that all comes from the players putting the work in, being able to understand what we're trying to do, get in position to make the play. So, like I said, it's a testament to our players of how hard they work, how alert and focused they are in meetings to have the ability to do what they've been doing when guys been out.
JC Allen.
Hey, Byron, just wondering, you know, looking at the tape of the Eagles, what biggest differences you've noticed since playing them in week 6?
They're playing good football. Their D-line is attacking the quarterback. They were a good football team when we played them, always had good players, got a difficult scheme to go up against. veteran guys in the secondary who've been around a lot of good football. Really got veteran guys on all three levels when you look at them. Veteran guys who's been in a lot of situations, really. And we know we're facing a veteran ball club that's a playoff team. Obviously, what happened early in the year means nothing. Going out here Sunday trying to play our best football, preparing ourselves for a really good football team.
We have time for a few more. We'll go to Greg Allman.
Hey, Byron, I know the offensive line is just starting to get its due in terms of three guys making the Pro Bowl. I want to ask you about Wirfs in particular, and just how much you've come to be able to depend on him and count on him as such a reliable player in just his second year.
Well, just going through training camp last year and putting them in certain situations, I was able to trust them by week 3 of last year, week 2 or 3 of last year, just because of who he is as a player, the way he approached it. Really good football player, man, as good as they come, really. And I'm just happy we have him on our side. It's great to see him go out there week in and week out and compete the way that he competes, especially with the guys he's up against every week. Just got the ultimate trust in Tristan.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Our last two will come from Rick Stroud and Sarah Walsh.
Byron, it's a team game, right? How aware are you of like the other team you're playing on offense? Like, okay, they like to run the ball, they're gonna control the ball. I think last Sunday you had 3 scored 41 points. You had 3 plays in the first quarter. Week before that, 1 possession. So do you have to account for the fact that if you give the ball back to them, it could be a while before you see it again?
I don't view it that way. You know who you're playing. You try to know the opponent to know what type of game it can possibly be. But at that point, you're just really just trying to do what you can't control when you got the ball. You can control what you do with it when you got it. So I look at last week, if we want more than 3 plays, we should have converted a third down, and we'd have had more than 3 plays. So we just got to do a better job of when we got it, executing, converting third down, scoring points. That's the only way you can view it, really, as an offense. When we are on the grass, let's try to be at our best.
Last one will be from Sarah.
Hey, Byron, I'm just curious from where you are right now in this first round of the postseason to compare to where you were a year ago at this point. How does it feel different, if at all?
Well, it feels different because it's a whole different year, right? And what we was able to accomplish last year. You don't look to that for anything, but you have that experience, right? We as a group have that experience. We've been in tough environments, tough situations, and we found the way to win football games in those situations. It obviously absolutely means nothing this year, brand new year. Every year is different. But to say that it feels different, it just feels like the first week of the playoffs, really, sir. It just feels like it's playoff time. You're one of the few teams that's left in the tournament that have the opportunity to play. Teams would do a lot to have an opportunity to play this weekend. We're fortunate enough to be one of those teams. So we're going to just try to make sure we're playing our best football when we go out there Sunday at 1 o'clock.
All right, that's all we have time for. Appreciate taking the time.
Thank you. Thank you.
Hey, Tom, all the focus now is on the playoffs, and I understand that. But I just wanted to ask you, I've talked to some people. You look at what you've accomplished at your quarterback position. I mean, the 5,300 yards, all the touchdowns. Some have told me that they think this might be the best that year you've had. I mean, in some measurements, right? You played an awful long time. Do you feel that way? Do you feel like you're playing your best football?
I feel like it's, for me, always about the team success. So, it's hard to compare one year to another. I feel like I've felt like I want to play as a championship level player. That's what I've said for a long time. And when I'm not able to do that, I said a long time ago, when I suck, I'll retire. But what I really meant was when, I'm not capable of leading the team to victory, then someone else has to do the job. So I feel like I can do that. Now, obviously, we put ourselves in a decent position to, now we're in the postseason and we got to take care of a very tough opponent. But, I just love being out there with the guys, see if we can go, beat a really tough Eagle team. And this team's going to challenge us, and I'm going to have to play good football.
Go to Jeneline.
Hey, Tom, last week, Cyril Grayson gave us this great story about how last year you were really hard on him. And I think that was when he was still on the practice squad. And he's not the first practice squad guy to say that, that has expressed that you've, shown an interest in helping those guys. Just can you speak to the importance of planting those seeds with guys that are maybe at the bottom of the roster, maybe on the practice squad? Because this time of year, those are the guys that you ultimately have to depend on, right?
Yeah, I think it's important, to put a lot of pressure on guys because you don't know how they're going to react. And if they're not in their plan, you don't get to see it very often. But, when they get their chance, you don't want it to be the first time that they're, put them in a pressurized situation. So, I am tough on those guys. Sometimes it's, I do something that I kind of, force the issue and create some arbitrary pressure just to kind of see how they react. Because, it's not like Mike needs that, or it's not like Chris needs that, but young guys who haven't played, they need that. And you want to see how they respond to the adversity.
Go to Greg Allman.
Hey, Tom, I want to ask you about Tristan Wirfs. Obviously, the O-line has started to get some recognition with the Pro Bowls and such. But I want to ask you just about Wirfs and the confidence that you've grown to have in him. I know he's been there every snap you've been here in Tampa, but for a guy in his second year to have already built that up with you, what that means.
I think he's done an amazing job. He's a great player. He's a great person. He's a great teammate. He's a great worker. Just does a great job in his position and takes the coaching, tries to apply it, means a lot, cares a lot. He's obviously got a very bright future. And he's really, in football, you got to earn the respect of people, and nothing's given to you. And I think the people that don't make it, they're entitled to something. Tristan's the opposite of that. Tristan wants to go out and earn it every day, and he wants to do a great job. And he's proven to everybody that he could be counted on. And it's just a great compliment to him and what he's been able to accomplish, to have, the whole organization have the kind of faith in him that we all do.
Joey Knight.
Tom, everybody has said, when the playoffs come, Tom Brady turns it up a notch. I'm just curious how that manifests itself. Do you literally watch more film? Do you meet with position groups a little more often to pay more attention to detail? How does that manifest itself?
I feel like I always try to give everything I have. I feel like I always I think naturally just the urgency goes up because there's more energy around what we're doing, and there's more energy on the field, and everyone wants to come back and play in these games. And it's just kind of, there's more people that want to come to the games. There's more fans. There's a pep rally tomorrow, I guess. So there's just a lot of more excitement. There's fewer teams playing. There's, more coverage, and everyone's paying attention. So you got to feel it. You got to feel the urgency, and you got to go out there and you got to get the job done.
Sarah Walsh.
Hi, Tom. When you look at the Eagles right now, what jumps out to you the most about their defense and the challenge that they're going to present to you?
Well, they have a lot of good players. They obviously got a very good front. They're really settled in at linebacker. They're playing really well at linebacker. And, they got a very veteran secondary who's playing very well together. Talented players at all the positions. They're, a very good defense. They make you earn everything. You make a mistake, you get a penalty, you're going to punt. The ball gets batted up in the air, they're going to intercept it. You hold on the ball too long, they're going to strip sack it. So it's a team that just doesn't let you off the hook. And I think they do a good job with their coverages. They show enough disguise. They're all covering for one another. There's really good communication. I can tell that. So really well coached defense with, a lot of good players. It makes it, tough for the offense to score.
Rob Maddie.
Tom, you just mentioned the Eagles are a team that don't let you off the hook. Their fans don't let you off the hook either. I know you talked about in the podcast the other night about they always remind you about that drop pass in the Super Bowl. I'm wondering, how aware are you? Those fans are obsessed with you not shaking Nick Foles' hand after that game. Are you aware of that?
No, I'm not.
We'll
I've shaken Nick's hand plenty of times though. So I had a lot of respect for Nick, and I try to be a good sport as best I can. I know it doesn't always look like that because sometimes I get a little pissed out there, but for the most part, I try to be a good sport.
We'll go to Kevin O'Donnell.
Hey, Tom, you've played in a lot of adverse conditions weather-wise in your career, but since coming to Tampa, you really haven't had a lot of rain games. Sunday, unfortunately, we could have some rain, heavy winds. How do you prepare? Can you prepare for a game that has potential heavy rains coming when you've been here in Florida and not getting it during the week?
I played in a lot of them over the years, so you got to handle it. It's with some mental toughness, first of all. Physical prep isn't much different. I mean, we haven't had a lot of rain this year. We did in the Patriot game, so we're a little bit used to it. Maybe some different cleats. But just depending on what the weather's going to be. So, I've had a lot of experience in the Northeast to have a lot of different weather conditions. So I'll be ready for it.
We have time for two more. We'll go to Ira Kaufman and finish with John Romano.
Tom, your record in the postseason is 34-11. Among all your accomplishments, where's that number rank? 34-11 in the playoffs.
It's a good question. If you had asked me what my record was, I would have said I don't know. So it's just the reality of, I think, doing this and staying focused on what's ahead and not looking back. And I'd love to get to 35-11. That would be my answer. We got to go win a very tough game against a great opponent.
Last question will come from John Romano.
Hey, Tom, the team has done a really good job with that next man up philosophy all season long. But as different guys come in at receiver, tight end, running back, how has that changed things for you in terms of what you do on the field? How has the offense evolved from September until January?
It's evolved a lot. A lot of guys have gotten different snaps, and you just look at the running backs on the roster, you look at the receivers on the roster. A lot of guys have come and gone. We've added a bunch of different guys. BP's playing a role. We just added, someone to our practice squad today. Guys been in and off the practice squad. So you just got to do the best you can do. Show up to work every day, try to work with everybody, throw to everybody, communicate to everybody. We're all in the same meetings and build up some trust over the course of the season. And when guys get their opportunity, they got to go take advantage of it.
All right. That's all
you guys. Appreciate it.
Hey, Keyshawn, you've done a great job, of stepping up when were needed. Now that you're in the postseason, how will anything change for you? We might get Leonard back, but like in terms of how you approach it, is it any different? If you get a chance to play more, that sort of thing for you?
My thing is making sure I'm as detailed as oriented as I can be, focusing on all the little things that I could take care of on my side, and then going out there and making plays when the ball come my way.
Thanks.
What a gentleman.
Hey, Keyshawn, we just talked to Tom, and he was talking about, some of the younger players that maybe aren't getting a lot of game action. And I know you have gotten a lot of game action recently, but earlier in the season and even last year, he was saying how some of these younger players, he will put you guys in pressure situations during practice to see how you respond, since you're not getting that in games. Have you experienced any of that before, or what's it like when he does that?
I think my thing is it's always, you can look at it as pressure, just being out on the field, understanding that what the expectations are for this team. So I think that alone is enough pressure itself. And then understanding that you are playing with Tom Brady, you have to protect your quarterback, and he have to be able to trust you out there on the field, just like you got to be able to trust all the other 10 players on the field with you. So
Have you had? I'm sorry.
Oh, you can go.
Oh, no, you go ahead. I'm sorry, I jumped the gun.
No, it's fine. But like I was saying, I feel like it's pressure every day. It's just about how you look at it. My thing, I look at everything as a challenge. So got to complete the challenge.
But have you personally experienced a moment like that with him in practice this year or last year?
I probably have. I probably just didn't look at it that way. So.
Gotcha. Thank you.
We'll go to Rock Riley.
You muted.
Boom. Keyshawn, was there ever a point where it was just so frustrating for you that you weren't getting your shot? Because you came in, you had these other running backs, and then Fournette's doing good. I mean, was there ever a point where it was really like, man, how come I'm not getting my shot?
I mean, like when I first got here, the whole season last year, early this year, then like when I'm in, the game don't go how I expect it to go. So, like me, it was a lot of mental work that I had to put in, kind of to keep myself healthy. That was my thing, keeping my mental health good, because when you don't really know what's going on, then it's a business. So you got to look at it from a different perspective too. So my thing was kind of just sitting back, waiting my turn. And then while I was waiting my turn, I was crafting, getting better at my weaknesses and strengthening my strengths.
We'll go to Rob Maddie.
Keyshawn, if there's a lot of rain, a lot of muddy conditions, how does that help you, if at all, as a running back? And what do you do to make sure you got the proper footing?
I don't know. I think you gotta just have a couple pair of cleats and you gotta figure it out from there. I mean, it probably, I don't know. I don't know how to answer that. But
We'll go to JC Allen.
Hey, Keyshawn, a couple weeks ago, Bruce Arians said that, he sees that you could have the potential to be a lead back. You got that opportunity last week, and obviously your role has increased with the injury to Leonard Fournette and Rojo. How do you think you did in that time? And do you think that is a situation where you can thrive in as a lead back in this offense?
I do believe I could be a lead back in this offense. Just believing in myself is the first thing. Understanding that I could be in a position and help this team wins. And I just believe in myself, and I believe I can do the job.
If any other media have questions, please raise your hand now. All right, that's all we have time for. Appreciate you taking the time.
Appreciate y'all, good people.